Hello, hello. Welcome to a new episode of I Like Art podcast. My name is Sara Glupker, and I am just so excited to have a very special guest on my show today. She is an artist and she works with flowers as her medium. And I am just so darn excited to introduce you to Katie Lila. Before we get started with the episode, I really encourage my listeners to go ahead and hit the pause button and go check out Katie's website. Go check out her Instagram. It's flowers for people, flowers.for.people on Instagram. The link is in the show notes. Go ahead and check her out just so you get an idea of the artist and the art. It's always just such a nice way to get in touch with the interview. You get a little bit more out of it. So come on back. And okay, now we're assuming you're back. And I'm here to introduce you to Katie Lila. About Katie, and this is from her website, which is beautiful. And I just love her writing so much. She says, I've been sharing flowers with people for the last 20 years. I'm committed to using locally grown blooms whenever possible. Love that. And hope to be a bridge between the everyday flower lover and our local flower farmers here in Spokane, Washington, and wherever else the blooms take me. During college, I started taking classes, working in flower shops, and learning from a myriad of talented designers. Eventually, I had my own successful floral event company while raising babies and helping support my husband through medical school because even a full plate looks better with some flowers. Oh, that's so true. Over the years, I became curious about what else I could make with flowers. This led me to designing large-scale flower art. The process was so compelling that I decided to capture on film and share it in the series Follow the Blooms, now streaming on the Bloom TV network. Flowers are a funny thing, right? On one hand, they grow right out of the dirt, even from cracks in the cement. On the other hand, they are a luxury item that many do not have access to or simply can't afford, especially curated large-scale flower design. I hope to change that and help more people experience the beauty and joy of flowers as art. I love creating with flowers, and I'm excited to see where the Flowers for People story goes next. I'd like to be a part of the ongoing flower conversation with those who craft and share it one stem at a time. That is so beautiful, Katie. And welcome to I Like Art podcast. Thank you so much for being here. It's just such an honor to talk to you today.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm the one that's honored. Like, this is amazing. I love your work. I just, you bring joy every time I see it. So fun.
So I feel the same way about you. And I found you through Instagram and you were doing a live, I think it was with the originator, the founder of Bloom TV. And it
Oh,
was way back when I reached out to you and I saw you talking and I was like, I need to have her on my podcast. I love your energy. I feel like if we lived in neighboring towns, we would be friends and we would be hanging out. And I am just so
totally.
excited. Also, I am really excited to talk to you about your backstory, about Bloom TV, and about your show, and just hoping to inspire others to really think outside of the box, even when it comes to different artistic forms, like working with flowers. I could not love this more. So, without further ado, I think we should just jump right in and get started because I think we all just need to know a little bit more about you. So, you live in Washington State, and that is just such a beautiful area. I've never been, but just from seeing your show, it just looks so beautiful. So do you want to share a little bit more about your story? Go as far back as you want. What was it like being a child? What was your childhood like? Did you make art? At what age did you know you were an artist? And especially working with flowers. I
Hmm.
know it's a lot.
That's great. That's a great question. Yeah. By the way, come on over anytime. You've got a place to stay. So
Oh, yay. Aw, I'm
come on
coming.
over. Yeah, do it. There's so many amazing gardens around. We could just do a farm garden tour. Art.
That, yes, that sounds awesome. I I'm excited. That just sounds amazing. What a beautiful area. Oh,
It is really beautiful. And it's fun because we have all the seasons. And right now it's bud season and it lasts a long time. So you go on walks and you just see these tiny buds on all the trees. And it just, it gives me so much hope after those long winters. You know the story.
mm-hmm.
um, okay. So way back when this was fun to think about when I realized I was an artist. Last year was when I realized I was an artist.
What?
That's that's when I started to wear the badge, in my own
Mm-hmm.
heart. But doing inner work and looking back to childhood, she was always there, right? She just never got a label,
Mm-hmm.
as an artist. So one of my earliest memories making with flowers, and am I talking too loud? It's
No,
different. Okay.
perfect.
You can tell I'm a newbie at this.
No,
Um,
you're doing great.
One of my earliest memories is taking petals, and I'm pretty sure I was snitching them from my neighbor's rose bushes
Mm-hmm.
and making perfume. And I would like put these little tinctures, and I would squeeze them, and I would rub them, and I would put them in the water, and then I would mix them with other little weed
Like
flowers.
potions.
Yeah, I would make
I used to do
flower
that
potions.
too. Oh, that's so fun.
I know, it's so fun, right? And I remember, and then I'm an entrepreneur. I always have been. So of course, then I sold that, right? I went around the neighborhood, and when the tinctures, the flower potions didn't sell, I snuck into my mom's bathroom and put a couple drops of her super expensive perfume in them. They would smell, and peddled that around the neighborhood. And I would just let everybody smell, and I would put a little bit of the real perfume on the tip of the glass, whatever. I was probably like 5, 6. I was little. Anyways,
That's
first memory,
amazing.
first flower memory. Um, and then after that, my neighbor was just kind of the community wedding flower designer. She would design for all of our neighbors and friends, and I would start helping her. That's kind of where I first got my hands on flower design.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, my neighbor Vicky Garbutt, she was fabulous. And then from there, stop me anytime. From
No.
there, I was a dance major in college and danced forever, and got really burned out because, as any artist knows, art credits are, you get like 1 credit for 5 million hours, right, in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there a long time, and my last semester I got burned out, so I took a flower design class because I was like, oh yeah, I remember loving that, and it just reignited everything. And so I started working at a local flower shop, for pennies, but an amazing designer. She helped me learn the craft. She taught me everything. And it was funny because she was not a super great businesswoman, but she was an incredible artist, just pumping these
Mm.
huge weddings out of this tiny little roadside shop, in Utah. That's where I grew up. Yeah. And then after that, when I graduated, I had the flower bug. And I don't even know what I was thinking. I went to a local um, event center, and I
Mm-hmm.
just walked in there, and I was like, you need a florist, and it needs to be me. And I just
Yes.
acted like I knew what I was doing.
Yay. I love this.
Yeah, oh dear. It's kind of how I roll. I just jump in, go for it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, how do I do that? Oh shoot. So convinced
Mm-hmm.
them that I was their girl, and then did weddings for a long time. And
Oh
then,
my goodness.
so it
Okay.
started.
And then that led to your floral. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's one other thing I wanted to comment on. The making the potions when you're a little girl. So totally brings me back to my childhood because we used to do that where we'd make a birthday cake out of dirt and then you add the stones and decorate it and the flowers. And there's an artist that I think you would love her work. Her name is Denise Gasser. Have you heard of her? I will put her in the show notes.
Okay.
And um she is an artist and a mother, and she got reconnected with this childhood memory of making potions with pieces of flour and sticks and all kinds of and then she would add some dye, and then she makes these abstract paintings of them with the light shining through the jars, and
Oh,
it is just incredible. It's so beautiful. So, yeah, Denise Gasser, everybody, go look her up. She'll be in the show notes. And I just think you would really love her work because it's exactly like it might bring you back to your childhood. I think she calls them perfume bottles, perfume. They were like
What?
potions. Maybe they're potions. I'm trying to remember. I'm not doing a good job of that, but okay.
Okay,
So now I'm
so
even more. Go
I
ahead.
just had this phrase. So when this actually happens, we'll know this is where it was sparked. Let's make a huge flower installation with glass jars, and everybody makes their own potion with the
Yes,
petals and rips it up and just like makes a cool, crazy potion. And then we stack them into like a huge wall, and it becomes this flower stained glass.
that would be amazing.
We're doing it.
And then you need to get Denise to come and help paint the jars. I don't know.
Yes.
This is so exciting. See, you're such a connector. I love this so much. Okay, now, so you were a florist, you did a lot of weddings, and then how did that turn into what you are doing now before your show?
Sure. Had babies, did weddings, worked with, my husband was in medical school, so that was a lot. And moved here to Spokane, Washington about 7 years ago. And we had essentially arrived, right, in life. We were like, we have a real job, we have our first home, we're done having babies, right? And I just sat in this room, actually, right here, which used to be a fancy formal dining room,
Mm.
turned to our studio.
Oh, yes.
I sat in this room and I cried
Mm.
because I realized like my inner artist, my little child, my inner Katie, right? I didn't know her anymore, and I was like, "Where are you?" And
Mm-hmm.
I realized my wedding work, while it was very satisfying and fulfilling and helpful, right, with our family budget and finances, I was craving artistic creativity that was just outside of what I've been doing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
weddings, while it's beautiful, it's also very predictable because
Mm-hmm.
all the brides are looking at the same things on Pinterest. And so you're making the same wedding over and over and over and over and over. And so I just wanted something that was outside, like think outside the vase, think outside the
Mm-hmm.
bouquet, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh. And so I started having these ideas coming, and I
Mm-hmm.
worked with, and I just went to one of pretty much anyone I could in the community. He's like, I
Mm-hmm.
have these crazy ideas. Let me come and make one for you.
Yeah.
um, so I went and made a big installation out of forsythia branches. And yellow,
Mm.
right now, is forsythia time. It's bright yellow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love forsythias. They're so
Yes.
beautiful.
And so I just cut everything I could from some local farms, from my own bush, and we made this studio full of forsythia. And then I did a big photo shoot there and invited photographers to book time in the flowers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this is what I want to do, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
big flower art that people interact with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I got the bug, and that's where it all shifted.
Oh my goodness. So that moment that you had, that just gives me goosebumps thinking about it because it's that inner artist that you yes, I have three kids and we have that moment where you look around, it's like, okay, we're here. We have, all of the check boxes are checked. And then that sense of not being totally fulfilled. And then realizing that you're working for clients. It's a client work, you're creating their vision, you're working with deadlines and pressure of a different kind. Yeah, I think the wedding, anyone who works in weddings, that's like next level pressure. That's a very finite moment that, yeah, you have a lot of very high expectations that you're working with. So I could see where the need for change. And I just love that you honored that. And it's like that moment with the tears is like the rebirth of this artist that's, reemerging. It's like a new day. And oh, it's
Yes.
so scary though. So I just
So here.
absolutely, yeah, right? And that first event with the forsythia, that's just so incredible. So did you feel like once you did the first event, were you advertising? Was it kind of a word of mouth situation where that person was at the event and then they wanted you to do an event for them? How did that progress?
Yeah, so it's called the Now Space. It's a really a photography studio, essentially,
Hmm.
right? That people can use for any creative work that they're doing. And so we book through through them. And yeah, I mean, I would love to also put them in the show notes. The Now Space here in
The Now
Spokane,
Now
because she was really
space. Can you
and
send
Now
that to
Space.
me?
You bet. And her name is Claren McDara. But she was like, yeah, let's do this. And I'll book, photographers, I'll send it out, right? So she sent it out on all of her connections and socials and emails, and
Hmm.
people filled up, right? So she booked the photographers, and then each of the photographers brought clients in, right,
Hmm.
for the shoot. And they
Hmm.
was an hour or 2 hours, and it was like, all across the board. There was couples, families, babies, you know, all the different photography happening in that space. But honestly, that in itself is an idea that I thought, oh, that could be its own business, right? For
Hmm.
any artist, really,
Hmm.
not just ours, creating these moments of
Hmm.
interaction in a space, right? Where you
Oh.
make installation work or a backdrop but I love the idea where we had one big vignette and then two smaller vignettes and then we had a lot of interactive flowers that people could wear or hold or whatever.
Hmm.
So they just came into this pretty small space, maybe it's 20 by 20,
Hmm.
and natural light, and use what we had built to create then their own art, which I think is a really fun model for any artist that wants to get
Hmm.
into installation work, mural work, because it's hard to get a job for a permanent installation. But
Hmm.
photography pays enough if you are sharing the bill, right? So if
Hmm.
10 artists, and especially, I mean, flowers are tricky because they're ephemeral, they die off. So you have to
Hmm.
get them in 2 or 3 days, right? So we would have 2 day shoots. But with installation work or artists putting up their own work that's not going to fade or die,
Hmm. Hmm.
it could be a really fun. I've actually thought like, oh, I would just love to open or have days, but there's so many studios opening like that artists could easily connect with and be like, hey, can I put up all my work for 2 days and we book these artists, right? I don't know. I
Hmm.
just think that was such an
That'd be
easy
super
model.
cool. Yeah, a super cool collaboration.
You get
Ooh,
your work out there, right?
yeah. Oh,
Then
I'm
everybody,
really thinking about this.
yeah, everyone's posting your work.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay. I feel like we could talk about this for even longer. Um, all right. So I don't want to keep moving along, but okay. So you have Flowers for People, which is the name of your business, right? And what is so you're doing that and then you have this mission tied to what you're doing. And that led into having a show on the Bloom TV network. So I don't even know where to start with how this came about. So I'm going to let you tell the story because it's so
Sure.
awesome. It's
Let's
exciting.
unravel it. Let's unravel. My life is wacky. It's always a spider web. It's never a straight line, right? It is
I
just
love
like
that. I think that's the path of the true artist. It's not a straight path. It's like a weird web. I don't know what it is.
yeah,
It's,
totally.
yeah, twisty.
Yeah, it's textile, more webbish though, really.
Mhm.
Um, you just come back to the middle, right? Anyways,
Yeah.
so let me take you so I did this installation. I had this inner core mission bubbling up inside of me that was get more people interacting with flowers more of the time, right?
Hmm.
And
Love that.
because what I learned when I came, so there was a pause, there was a moment where I was just doing workshops and I was meeting farmers all over the place because I loved, and I was like, am I going to be a grower? Am I going to do these workshops like book clubs and
Mm.
bridal showers where everybody just makes a bouquet and we chat and
Hmm.
it's fun and
Hmm.
have chocolate. And that was fun and great, and I liked it. So I dabbled for a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years after 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was a God glimmer, as Lori Siebert calls it, or
Mm-hmm.
a God wink.
Mm-hmm.
That people, when they touch flowers, it is electrifying.
Oh.
You, you cannot stop the energy. You cannot stop like this joy, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
visibly, physically, it's there. You see it. And so as I was doing these little workshops and blah blah blah, I just kept being like stung by that moment when people would be like, "Oh, I'm not good at this," or "I don't want to do that," or "Can you do that for me?" But then when they would touch the flowers, the electricity came, and
Ooh.
so it was like, and I was like, "Do I need to go into like flower therapy and heal people with flowers?" So then I was like, "What do I do with this?" So fast forward, build the installation. Then I was like, that was such a cool experience. I worked with a local farmer. I had all these amazing photographers. I worked with a local small business, woman that's killing it. I worked with all these people came together,
Mm-hmm.
and then the people that were in the photos were holding the flowers and wearing the flowers. And I was like, this needs to be captured. We have to capture this somehow, right? This is too good of a story. So then I was like, do I just pop up my iPhone? I know nothing about this. Do I start a YouTube channel? But it
Mm-hmm.
all felt overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a pause, and I had a no week where I said no to everything, because I was like, when an idea feels so big that it needs so much space inside of you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Artistic, yeah, it like takes up everything. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I can't, I have to feed my kids, I have to do all the things,
Mm-hmm.
but anything that is not mandatory is now on pause for a week. And that's when the beautiful, Joe Packham with Where Women Create was talking with Monica of BloomTV on a podcast. I listened to that after one of my long nature hikes,
Mm-hmm.
and she was calling for content and this idea of, let's make a network that's all about flowers, right? And then Joe Packham came on to connect with the sister company of Made TV. So
Mm-hmm.
Made TV and BloomTV, this idea of just creators, everyday creators showing up, sharing their stuff, building this amazing community, and then having a space for help them produce stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. So yeah, that again, just the lightning bolts go through me. Okay, I could make this, and here's a place that it can land with a niche audience that actually cares about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to dig through YouTube
Right.
or not.
Yeah. So Bloom TV, you subscribe. Same with Made TV. It's a
Mm-hmm.
subscription. And then it's like the Magnolia Network in a sense, or other, apps that have shows. It's a
Yep.
network.
Streaming
And
network.
it's amazing. I'm a subscriber and I think it's just the coolest thing in the world. I'm not subscribed to Made TV yet, but I need to do that because now
Yeah.
I'm a maker. I feel like,
Yeah.
okay, this is,
Hey.
and I've seen some artists that I follow that have shows or have made programs for that. So
So fun.
amazing. And so you heard about, so there's a call for makers, right? So you, as somebody who works with flowers, you're able to pitch a show, right? Or pitch your idea?
I just like Sarah.
What?
I just totally made it up.
Oh.
so I heard them say, we're doing this thing, and I was like, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I can make a TV show about flowers. I have all these cool, connections. And I had 2 events lined up for some of these big installation
Mm-hmm.
interactive things. And so I was like, what if I made a pilot about this, right? And so
So they didn't
I
ask you? You just made it on
oh,
your own?
yeah, no, no. I no. This is me always just carving my own way out. No, no, no one has ever come knocking yet.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought that everybody made a pilot and that was how it all started. I don't know. This is where I'm
Yeah,
being naive and I don't know.
yeah, sure, sure. And I think that's the goal, right? Is to get to a place where, they're getting their feet on the ground. They're definitely figuring out like what they are and how it's all going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hope for what it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they at the time they were just taking submissions
Mm-hmm.
and putting them on there, kind of like a tailored YouTube, right?
Uh-huh.
But
It's super
then,
cool.
yeah, the
It's
idea is lovely,
yeah.
and I'm honored definitely to be the first full season.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Follow the Bloom was my show idea, and
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to start at a flower farm, meet the grower, meet the flowers, learn their story, play in the dirt, buy those flowers from those hardworking, loving farmers, and build something fabulous that could now be displayed and interacted with at a community event or gathering, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
the concept. We go to the flowers, we take the flowers and build some cool art with them, and then people interact with them, and hooray, that's the show.
It's so much more than that, though. I feel like so initially I thought it was a show about you as the main character creating an installation. And then watching your show, because I've watched all 4 episodes that are out now, all
Yay!
amazing. I think the last episode is my favorite so far. Okay, so but you do such a beautiful job of creating something that is truly community based and it's not about Katie and Katie's journey. It's about the flowers and their journey. It is about the farmers. You do such a beautiful job of honoring the key players in this project, and you bring in an artist. There's a local artist component that I noticed, and I could not be more excited about that. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
Your artist that you featured in the last episode, what is her name again?
Her name is Vanessa Swenson.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll
So
put Vanessa in the show notes,
yeah,
but
yeah,
she is such an incredible nature-based painter and artist. And I went down this huge rabbit hole this morning on Instagram, finding
yeah.
her. And your show notes and the credits are so well laid out. And it's just such a beautiful, it's not like tiny print. It's very obvious who your participating collaborators are in the credits. And it's so easy
Right.
to find. And I know that's very intentional. And I just absolutely love that because it's all about this huge thing that you're making that's bigger than you are. So, and the running event with the shoes and thrifting, there's a thrifting component that I don't know if you want to touch on that, but and then also again touching the flowers. I know that's a huge part of your heart's mission is the idea of touching the flowers. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on any of that, but it's amazing.
Okay. Not Sarah, I could not be happier with how you just expressed what you took away from the show, because that is exactly what I want to do, is just be this connector and tell the stories of amazing growers, amazing artists. Yes, so every episode will have a grower and an artist and hopefully a community connector, right, with the event.
Mm-hmm.
Because more than anything, and what I'm learning as I edit, so please watch the shows and give me feedback, because the cool part is you're like in the groundwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 more to go. And even one thing that I realized, the next 4 episodes, each of the artists will have a big title. When I bring them onto screen, I'm going to show a little collage of their work. So they'll have several, pieces of their
Mm-hmm.
work shown, previous work, and
Mm-hmm.
then also a title so everyone can find them easier. Because I know as you're watching, sometimes you're like, wait, who was that girl? What happened there? Who was that guy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the note that I'm taking into the next 4 episodes. Because what I really want to do with the show is travel the world and find
Mm.
incredible. I would love, this is my dream, to have submissions from artists, artists, makers, community gatherers, and growers, and even combine submissions. So Sara knows an amazing grower down the road,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I want to do this crazy cool event where I blah blah blah, and I'm going to get this grower on, right? Or there is a cool event in my town, and now let's bring flowers to that event and art and
Mm-hmm.
celebrate.
I
Or
love it.
so then these submissions would just come in, and I would just go and tell those stories because they're there and they're like so good.
Yeah. And it's not just about your area. I love that you're thinking big and
Yeah.
wanting to highlight again. I think that that is just so fulfilling as a creative person when you realize that it's not all about you. It's more there, what you're creating is bigger than you are. And it impacts people in a way that you can't even imagine. I think that's such a cool thing about being a creative person and an artist is that your creations can live on through other people. And this electricity with flowers, okay, I believe that's real. I went to a garden show 2 years ago, and it was there were 800 people there, and they were all gardening people. And
Yeah.
they had a handful of artists there, and we were invited to paint in the gardens during the event, and they had a beautiful reception for us on the front lawn of the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. I don't know if you heard about that place, but they had a full quartet. They had champagne. They had just beautiful big fountain. We had our art in front of that, and it was just this really amazing community aspect to it. I don't know why I got on a little tangent about that, but I will say the people that attended the convention, so I'm the artist. I'm not I'm like a gardening wannabe. I think it's because I'm so busy in my studio that it's hard for me to keep a plant alive, truly. But being around this community of people that work with flowers and plants, I will tell you is the happiest, kindest, electrified group of people I've ever been around in a big area. You know what I mean? I just felt like blown back by that. And I just attributed it to all the sunshine. Like, you guys are outside a lot. You have a lot of vitamin D, and you are just
The
the
flowers.
happiest people. Maybe it's the sun's electricity moving through us too, but probably touching those flowers has something to do with that. I never even thought about it that way. So,
And the dirt,
mhm.
the
Yeah.
dirt too. Okay, perfect segue to the story that I wanted to tell.
Okay.
With you talking about the ripple effect that our creativity and artwork has that we can never know the end of, right? I'm hoping that's one of the like magical gifts in heaven is that we get to see how everything was affected.
Oh yeah. Love that.
Right?
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be the coolest thing ever? But I got to see it. And it was so amazing. So one of the first episodes I made, so I made 3 pilot episodes on my own, not my own, but with just me and an awesome videographer named Kelly Ditto
Hmm.
Film Media. We can put
Hmm.
in the show notes
Okay.
too. He helped me put together these pilots, and he was amazing. And it would not have flown without him. But
Hmm.
one of our first ones was called River of Dahlias, and it is on BloomTV under the pilot submitted episodes. River of Dahlias, local farm, 500 dahlias, big, beautiful sturgeon nose canoe from a local Native American artist coming down the stairway in
Mm.
our newly renovated sunlit library. And the guests and passersby were all invited to take a dahlia that was water tubed and strap it on to this big, beautiful staircase railing, right? So
Hmm.
all day, guests were just putting on these dahlias. And by the end of the night, they're in these bright, lovely colors. They were the staircase was full, right? And so we made an episode about that and the grower and the artist with the sturgeon nose canoe and the guests coming. And I thought that was really cool, right? But fast forward a year and a half, when we started school this year, I went up to our cute little neighborhood elementary I have a second grader, is my youngest, and we walk up and there's an 8-foot giant heart made of sunflowers built into the chain link fence.
Ooh.
Right? So fun. All these gorgeous, and I could tell they were lovingly grown because they were like the cool red and white varieties of sunflowers with all the textures and colors. And so because I was like, oh, that's cool. Someone put up some silk flowers. And then I walked closer. I'm like, oh, these are real. So then I went on a hunt to find out who made the flower heart without me. I was like, wait, and I have to know this person. So hunted around, finally figured out the name. And so I waited for her after school because someone's like, oh, her kid's in the 3rd grade. So I'm like stalking her, right?
I love this.
Yeah, I'm like, you are the heart, the sunflower girl. And she was like, oh, are you Katie Lila? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that was inspired from the River of Dahlias, your first installation that you did a year and a half ago in the library. And I was just so moved by that I grew the sunflowers and collected them from all the neighbors to make this like big flower impact art that everyone could remember their happy first day of school.
Oh, I love that.
It is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm like weeping on the inside. This is awesome. Um, I and I think that it's like I started this podcast not really knowing why. It was just a nudge. You need to do this kind of thing. And you have no clue who's watching or who's listening. And then you get that kind of feedback and it's just powerful. And it's not the reason. I mean, you didn't create the installation so that someday someone else would make something inspired by what you do. And now that you're on this platform, this artist in Michigan is watching it and I'm thinking, oh man, that would be really cool. So I think this is just so awesome. I love this conversation. I could not love it more. Okay. What is your favorite thing about the show? I don't know if you kind of touched on that, and also I want to know what your favorite flower is that you work with. What is your absolute favorite flower?
Whatever's in season.
Okay.
It's my absolute favorite. If I have to choose, it's still hard, but I absolutely love, it's called Japanese anemone. Look up the Japanese anemone. They're delightful. They're a perennial and they're just these happy, bright little dolls of joy, and just check those out. That's my favorite. And yeah, the show, we just finished the 4th one and next week is the mermaid episode. So we're in Florida Springs doing an underwater submerged display for a photo shoot with a mermaid, right? And we have to like tromp through the Florida swamp to get the palmetto leaves to build the design. So this one is definitely like really different and a whole new.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was, but it just gets really good after this because then we fill a giant treehouse for a professional treehouse builder. Yes, and we fill his beautiful treehouse for the reveal to the family. Then we Slow Flower Summit with Deborah Prinzing. That is an amazing one. We build a big display that everybody gets to over the course of a weekend. They're filling in with the local flowers grown by all the farmers. And then it finishes off with an amazing island episode. We're on Orcas Island in the San Juan Islands out here, just off of Seattle. And there's a big music festival. And we build a beach hut out of driftwood and fill it from 2 farmers, veggies, flowers, all the things. It's wild. And then it's so wild. That one you got to see.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I can't wait. I also love the part of the show where you hunt for items, and the one episode where you're hunting for the containers and you picked the Tupperware, and I thought, I can't see how this is going to work, but okay. And it was so cool. It makes you realize you don't need to go ahead and buy everything on Amazon or go to the store and buy every single little thing. And it was just such a real I don't know. I guess I consider myself more of a 2D artist, but now it has me thinking in 3D. So that's just
Ooh,
awesome.
yay. Yes,
Yeah.
please. What, right? What could be paint? Yeah, I do love thrifting. And that's one of the things that I always want to keep as an element of the show is found objects, right? Um, Before I was going to make the show, I was thinking maybe I just do found objects and flowers and do huge displays, right? Like I have one bazillion ideas. I'll share one of
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
Buy old 60s lamps, right?
Hmm.
You buy all these really cool old 60s lamps and you spray paint them all in like retro colors. And
Hmm.
then you put flowers on the lampshades, right? So every
Oh.
lampshade is covered in these really cool flowers.
Hmm.
Anyway, just every vintage thing, I'm like, ooh, you could make a collection of that, but flowers on it.
I love that. Oh, that's so awesome. And it
Yeah.
just really opens you up to looking at things in a different way and repurposing. And, that's better for the environment. And that's just really important, especially now in today's day. So thank you for sharing that. Do you have a piece of advice for someone who's creative? They have a vision or a dream that just seems really big, like they're going to pitch a show and they are just overwhelmed and
Scared.
scared. What would Katie do?
You know, I was thinking about this. I think the biggest, or not the biggest, a good nugget of advice I can offer is we all are going to have resistance and we all are going to have gremlins, right? Fear, ego, doubt, all these things. And what I've started to do is because when you're moving into a new space with your dream work, your art, your, your visions, your big ideas, you will always feel inadequate and you will actually be inadequate. Like you won't know what to do and how to do it. So now I recognize that feeling faster. And I say, oh, hey, ego gremlin that wants to protect me and be like, pretend like you know what you're doing right now, right? Make it up so that you look
Yes.
kind of cool. I just say, hey, I hear you, I see you. And instead I ask a question. So,
Mm.
hey, actually, I'm learning a whole new language in production. So I'm like, hey, I actually don't know what that term means. Can you help me understand what you're explaining there? Or, okay, tell me how that works because I'm not quite sure, right? Or just, I would love to understand better what's happening here, right? So just instead of making it up and pretending that you do know or
Mm-hmm.
then you just ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, it allows the other person to meet you where you're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 99% of the time, they don't think you're stupid, And if they do, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And in a way, it's
99%.
kind of asking for help, right? It's
Right.
it's showing that you don't have all the answers, but nobody does. So I think that's such great advice. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Katie, I feel like we could chat forever. This is just awesome. Oh, I don't know where my question is on here. I have a whole list of questions. Do you have a dream, like the big Katie dream project or collaboration that you might want to share? I think it's so cool to
Totally.
speak it out. I know you want to travel the world. I think that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Um, I do. I want to collaborate with the New York Times Square ball drop. And I want part of the confetti to be flower petals.
What?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Amazing, right? I know, it probably won't start with all flower petals, but I'm like, super cool. One, everyone would love it. It would be amazing and fun. Two, then it's just like flower petals on the ground. That's
Yeah.
great, Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyways, I think the magic of people And then I just see everyone picking them up and having a big flower petal fight. So that would be my dream episode of Follow the Blooms to make, is New York City ball drop flower petals with
Okay.
local farms. Because the great thing is, it would be tricky with time of year, right? Anyways, lots to figure out, but that's where my husband comes in with the logistics. I'm just the
Yeah.
dreamer.
I mean, local is like all relative, right? So
Yeah,
we all live in the
yeah,
world.
yeah.
So,
So
oh my goodness. Well, maybe somebody's listening that has a connection in New York, and we'll just get this ball rolling now before it
yeah,
drops. Get it? I love
it's like,
that. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right. Before I ask you how we can support you, is there something that we want to give our listeners today? You and I have been talking. Is there anything special?
oh yes, yes. We definitely want to give our listeners a month free subscription to Bloom TV. Hooray!
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
excited.
yes.
So,
So let me double check if I got that.
we are talking about this. This is like a new development, guys, and we are working out how to make this happen with the
Yes,
powers that be.
yes. So we are going to put that in the show notes,
Hmm.
the link to Bloom TV. And Sarah, if you would put the pass code in there for your
Yep.
listeners, a month
Yes.
free Bloom TV. It's fun over there. Come check it out. There's, like I said, but this week will be 5 episodes. The mermaid episode will go on,
On
and
what
then by
day?
the end of all on Thursday, March 28th, the mermaid episode drops. Yeah, episode 5.
Yes. In the
Yeah.
meantime, you can watch all 4 of the first 4 episodes. And there are other shows on Bloom TV. There are people that work with edible flowers. There are decorators, there's artists who teach you how to paint flowers. There are videos on floral arranging, I believe. There's just a
Mm-hmm.
whole gamut of content and videos there for you. Again, it's like YouTube, but it's more curated, and there's just something for everybody there. And it's, even if you subscribe, I think it's $12 a month, and it's very
Yep.
affordable. And it's just a lovely, it's just something different, and I just love, so when I watch your show, I do feel very, it's like the music is really happy and the energy, and you always have really cute clothes on, and it's just fun and vibrant and colorful, and I just feel like it's just a really good feel-good show that makes you wanna do something, and it gets you off the couch, and maybe you wanna go outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. Maybe you wanna buy some flowers and touch the flowers and do something with them, or collaborate with somebody, or reach out and find an artist or a local farmer's market. There's just so much you can glean from the show. So I definitely recommend it. I think that we need more programming like this. And it's really a good show because it's not just about look at what I made or look at this thing that I designed. It's about who is involved, their talent. I think you do such a great job of featuring the artists and giving them a really good moment on there, showcasing what they do. The other artist on there that chisels into the paint layers, she has, I just love her stuff too. And then it's a very easy way to connect with the artist after the show's over. So I definitely would recommend it. That's why Katie's here. And I'm just so, so, so excited. So how else can we support you, find you? And then if we have time, I'd love to do a little rapid round of questions.
Fun, yeah. I mean, just share the show, right? Share the
Yeah.
show. That link would be so great to just, get shared out there. Tell your friends, tell your family, and watch the show, and then just give feedback. Anything really. I am like all up for critical feedback. If there's something you don't like, something you want to see more of, something you're like, cut it.
Hmm.
Tell me.
Hmm.
You know.
Definitely share the show. That's just part of the magic of starting something like this, is getting people excited about what you're doing, sharing it. And I know as a local artist and small business owner like you, any kind of help of sharing and getting our name out there is so helpful and important. And it's all about connecting. We are all truly connected. So this is just such a It's such a cool, I just absolutely love what you're doing. I think it's just
Thank you.
amazing. And it definitely has me thinking about my art in different ways, which as an artist, I really appreciate that.
Yay.
Um,
Yes. Well,
okay.
you
Anything
threw a couple
else
on.
before rapid round of questions? Anything?
I thought we covered a lot. It's super fun. I
I know.
enjoyed it.
Awesome. Okay, Katie, I'm dying to know. These are the most important questions of the whole interview. What is your favorite color? I would not be able to guess.
I know. I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it. Green. I do
Yay.
love good, true Kelly green.
Oh, that is a beautiful shade of green. I too am wearing green, which is kind of funny. So
Yeah.
great minds think alike. When you're working, what is your beverage of choice? No, judgment here.
I'm an herbal tea girl. I love a good herbal tea because I'm a night owl. So my
Hmm.
best hours are from like midnight to 3, really, honestly.
Really?
And yeah, I'm afraid so. I can't do it all the time, right? Because I'm a mama.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I do give myself a couple pockets a week where I get to be in that zone of creativity. And I have my lemongrass herbal tea with honey and cream.
Mm. Ooh, that sounds good.
It's good.
So, yeah, it's always fun to work the night shift. I feel like my brain works differently at night. So it is kind of cool there's
Yeah.
just some things that come out. Okay.
It just
I love
sucks,
that.
right? You have
I don't
no
think you're
have,
alone. Hmm?
yeah. You have no
Yeah.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah. And the house is quiet in a different way. It's just so nice. Do you have a book or a movie that you want to mention for whatever reason?
Ooh, sure, yeah. My Bible beside the Bible is the Big Magic by
Oh,
Elizabeth Gilbert.
yes.
Mhm. Honestly, whenever I have something scary that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm getting ready to like be on a podcast, say, or
Mm-hmm.
something scary, I just turn it on, Big Magic, and I let the Audible book play, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's bigger than ourselves, right?
Oh,
Mhm.
I love that book so much. I feel like I need to reread it, but it is definitely on my top 5 list. And a lot
Yeah.
of creatives love Big Magic. It's so good. Okay. Okay, good question. So I get my creative ideas when I'm driving around alone in my car. Some people when they're in the shower, but where do you get your creative ideas? Where does this lightning bolt moment happen for you?
Yes, it's often in the shower. Yes, often in the shower. And again, late at night before I'm like ready to go into the zone. But also nature walk,
Mm,
and that's
mm-hmm,
so I put in my earbuds and I listen to podcasts or whatever, but then usually I'll turn on a couple of just beautiful songs
mm-hmm.
and I dance. I'm a dancer. So I have a couple places in the woods that no one can see me and I just dance.
You do? Oh,
I do.
that's awesome.
I just dance and feel all the feels. Kind of wacky, but that's what I do.
I love that.
That's
That's so
usually how
good.
they'll break a pause, right? When you just feel like stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to get that movement in too. Let's get the energy flowing. Um, okay, if so, is there something that you're not good at that you wish you were good at? It could be music, sports, anything.
5 million things. Email, organization, logistics for my kids, talking to the schools, right? Like, I just really wish I had a personal secretary for keeping all of the logistics going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be my number one.
I
Mm-hmm.
know. Wouldn't that be so nice? You just have someone with a clipboard and they can just
Yeah.
sort it out. I know I struggle with that too because my brain is way over here doing all this stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's a the struggle is real. My mama heart goes out to you because I totally understand that. Okay, last question. Do you have a creative challenge you want to give my listeners today?
Yeah. Find a flower and rip it apart. Just get a flower.
My reaction was like, "What?"
Find a flower. Pick a flower. Buy a flower at the store. Look at it really close. Enjoy it. And then before it fades, take it apart and just feel that. Throw it in the air. Make confetti. Roll it around. Make a potion. Do something with that flower.
Really? Whoa. That
Yeah.
I did not expect that from you. I kind of
Huh.
expected the opposite. Like get some flowers and make something. Okay.
No, no.
Not tear it
Rip it
apart.
apart. Mhm.
I'm sipping water because the air in my studio is kind of dry. We have snow at our house. It's snowing right now in
Oh
Michigan.
my goodness. Are you serious? Wow.
I am serious. I can
Come
turn
on,
the
Mark.
camera. It's all white. Do you see?
Oh, yes. Wow. It is a snowy day. It's a very snowy day.
It is a
Wow.
snowy day.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, just made you dizzy there. So, and I'm losing my voice. So I think it's a good time to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And I know my listeners are going to love it. And excuse me.
No.
I'm not crying. You're crying. No, it's one of those things where I have like a tickle in my throat. But thank you so much, Katie, for being here. It has been such a pleasure talking to you. And I cannot wait to see not only the end of your shows, but where this goes from here. Maybe a season 2. I don't know. We don't know. The best is yet to come. Yes, everybody needs to go tune in to Follow the Blooms on BloomTV. Thank you again, Katie. It has just been wonderful. I feel like we're kindred spirits, and I think this is just the beginning of chatting with you some more because I just love everything you're doing. It's so awesome.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's think of a collaboration for an episode, you and I. I think this is a great idea. I'll come out to Michigan. So find your local
Really?
farm. Why not? Are you kidding me? Yeah, what
Oh
do you
my
want to
gosh.
do? What's happening out there in Michigan?
We have flowers. We have a lot of beautiful flowers. I need to think about volume. Like, how much do you need? Do we need
Yeah,
a lot?
yeah, yeah, at least 500 stems.
500
So,
stems. Got it. I'm on a mission. Oh, this
okay.
is so exciting. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
saying
find
yes
it.
to this. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Katie. This has been wonderful. And again, everyone, go check her out. Go check out the show. Follow the Blooms on Bloom TV and go give Katie some love on Instagram and all the things. So thank you again, Katie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanks to everyone for tuning in to I Like Art podcast. I will be back next week with a new episode. And I don't remember what it's going to be, but it'll be great. So thanks again. And I'll catch you guys
Sarah,
later. Have a wonderful day.
you
Thank you
are a beautiful
so
soul.
much, Katie. Bye.